Hello everyone and welcome on this third video. I was not expecting to do a second video, I was not expecting to do a third video, but well, here we are. During my absence, what was my surprise to see that the second video reached 2000 views and the first one 1000 views. I was absolutely not expecting that. I wanted to sincerely thank all the people who, by sharing, commenting, liking that video, managed to push it in YouTube algorithm. Those views are here thanks to you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you everyone for participating to the visibility of this video. And I would like to give a warm welcome to the one joining us in this journey about street photography and mostly about anxiety and generalized anxiety. So here we have a bit of a special video. It's a video that is not in London, but in Ireland. I went there to visit some family, and for this occasion I had to do something that I had not done for 10 years, which is 2.5 hours of driving. I mean, I was not driving. Fortunately, I don't have a license, that would be terrible. Because I was with family, this video will be a bit different. First, it is shot over multiple days, but also I cut many parts of the video where I took some shots but my family was around, so I wouldn't want to expose them too much. I had a lot of comments asking me why do I shoot with such high ISO, so that's why now I decided to add the mentioned DR400 on my shots. DR means dynamic range. For those who are not familiar with Fujifilm bodies, the dynamic range option is when you're shooting JPEG, helps compressing highlights so they don't burn out while still keeping shadows natural. Dynamic range 400 underexposed by 2 stops and requires minimum ISO of 500. I searched for perfection and I found it. In my previous video I mentioned how much I was and I am still always looking for perfection. Not in others, funnily enough, but I have very high expectation only for myself. I always want to do better. I'm always striving to do better, and what I'm still thinking in one way. That's how I'm fueled, that's how I improve myself, that's how I get up in the morning, I go out of my bed and I do the things that I need to do. The truth is, looking back on my whole life, I don't remember when was the last time that I thought, you did good here. I don't remember when was the last time I was satisfied with anything that I've done or proud of myself. Here in Waterford, I had to think and rethink my whole way of photographing. It was the first time in my very long 6 months old street photographer career that I was confronted to being seen. In London, I can drown the density of the crowd. Here in Waterford, with or without my camera, I think that people were noticing that I am a tourist. Each time I will take my camera, people will be hiding or looking straight at the camera, which, by the way, brings a question. Some people say that if your subject see you taking the picture and he's looking straight at the camera, it doesn't count anymore. It's a big no-no in street photography, and some others say that it has no sense, that it can be part of street photography process. So I don't know what you think about that, but in Waterford I felt like I was going around with a neon sign saying, "Hi, I do not belong here. I'm going to take pictures of you. Please see me." Because of that, my anxiety was extremely high. The day was a very bright day, so the light was unforgiving. It was extremely hot day also. So I was struggling with temperature, I was struggling with the light, I was struggling with my anxiety in general. I don't know if street photographers, each time they go to a new city, take them time to test the water, but for me indeed it was a whole adventure. The first half of the day is definitely not great. I don't have on that first half of the day pictures that I really crazy enjoy. Looking for perfection is in every sphere of my life. Here, for example, visiting family. I wanted to be the best guest possible, the best version of myself. The truth is, as the day progressed, I grew tired because of my anxiety and my mental health in general. I'm still very fresh out of the generalized anxiety shell. So even if I can manage it better, instead of celebrating this, what I'm mostly thinking is, oh, but when I arrived, I was low energy because I went in town to shoot that video, to take pictures, because I was socializing, I was giving all my energy. Well, after 3 days, I just ended up being really tired and feeling sick and having no energy. So instead of celebrating being able to move to another country, which I was not able to do back then, I'm mostly focusing on what I did wrong. And it's the same with street photography. As I mentioned in the previous video, I never have that shot where I'm happy with and I'm thinking, that's a good day. I used to make music and I was never satisfied with it. I write books and I'm not satisfied with it. I'm always looking for that perfection. And as I mentioned, whilst this could have been a positive force, the truth is that's also what contributed to most of the failures that I had in life, most of my anxiety and most of my depressive episodes. All I can see when I see those pictures that I took on that first half of the day is the imperfection. Street photography is such a frustrating art, because you try your best, you see things, you imagine things, you portray them in your head, but despite that, it requires years and years of experience to be able to frame what you see. It requires to be attentive to your environment. That man, for example, I thought he's standing out, but I didn't have that reflex to take a step back, to move quicker, to capture the segue. Here I see that man, I know that he's annoyed by the concert, but instead of moving around to frame him holding his ears and at the same time seeing why he's doing so, I missed the shot, I missed the story. Here I see all those people having headset and standing in silence. I don't know what they were doing, but it almost looked like a Black Mirror episode. Everyone in silence with this headset on. And as I go from behind, trying to find an angle to take a picture of all this, I see this baby with this huge headset on and looking extremely serious and watching me, observing me. So I decided to take a picture of him. And that's why these videos are extremely important for me, but I hope also for others that could be in a similar situation. I decided to remove that search for perfection. In this video I'm showing where I'm lacking, where I am weak, not only in my street photography because I leave shots that are completely missed or not interesting, but also on a personal level. Because here I'm openly talking about my generalized anxiety, my weaknesses, my fears, the moment I failed. Things that, well, it's not something that will make you shine in society. It's not something, imagine that right now you have a first date. Like, I wouldn't wish on anyone, family or friends or dates, to have that first impression of me as the one that I'm sharing with you now. We tend, as a society, especially nowadays with social medias, we push success into everyone's face. We push financial success, we push having a beautiful body, succeeding professionally, having a perfect relationship. We push all those objectives, and I think we somehow always add, let's not just say that it's social media. I think in general, back then we would always do the same, except just you would look at your neighbors instead of watching at someone that is at the other side of the world. I was looking for my own perfection. I was looking to be perfect every day of my life, every minute of my life, in every of my interaction with everyone. I was looking to be perfect in weird ways. I think somehow I was not looking to be perfect as in a general idea that we have of perfection, but my maximum level. I was trying to be at my best at every situation, and I would lose myself if I would not reach that perfection. I would reach level of anger toward myself that would be self-destructing. It was exhausting. Trying to be constantly perfect is exhausting. And when you reach a certain level of fatigue, that's when you struggle to go out. That's when you isolate yourself, and little by little you remove every source of that exhaustion. When I decided to do this video, I thought, I don't know if this is something that we will find in anyone suffering from anxiety. I would love to hear in the comment what you think of that, if this is also something you identify with. I know that for me it was one of the main thing, and it is still. I am still that person, and I think I will always be that person that tries to be the best version of herself, no matter what the situation is, no matter how ridiculous it is. Like, let's organize a party. Okay, I want to think of everything. I cannot fail. I cannot fail to buy plastic glasses. I know that for me, I went there because I thought I do not have much worse if I'm not perfect, if I'm not at my best, then I'm a failure. Recording these videos, these 3 videos, is something, it's quite of a frightening exercise, because I'm putting myself up there, showing my weaknesses, not only in my photos that are sometimes completely missed, bad, or just needs to be improved, or my editing skills that are not the best either, but simply to open up about things that frankly I would never share with strangers. If I would try to sell myself on a date, I would definitely not say hi, nice to meet you, I have generalized anxiety and being in a pub for 10 minutes scares me, so can I make some babies? It's something that usually we hide, we are ashamed of. In my previous video, I mentioned that generalized anxiety is an extremely lonely process, and the reason that it's so lonely is because we tend to not share things about ourselves, and we tend to hide part of ourselves that we would consider weak or not pretty or not good enough. My path to getting better not only was obviously to have street photography that helped me to have that connection with the outside, but before I could have that connection with the outside, I needed to have a reset on my way of thinking. And to be honest, it's not a huge reset, because I'm still thinking like that. It's still me. That's how I'm fueled. But I am more indulgent with myself. I understand that perfection is imperfection. Like, how can I understand that something is so beautiful if I don't understand that something is ugly? Cannot ugliness be pretty? I do hope so, because otherwise I'm screwed.
Really good. Show the motion. Show the motion. I don't know which one I embarrassed, you or him. Both, I think.
Yeah. I searched for perfection my whole life, and I will continue to try to go for that perfection, but I decided now that my generalized anxiety, my weakness, my fears, they are parts of that perfection. They give depth to my life, they taught me things, and it was a very long lesson, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it could have been shortened by a few years if I would have listened earlier, if I would have been nicer to myself earlier. I finally found perfection. I find perfection in the people around me, because despite having imperfect sides, despite struggling with some things, they're here, they're showing up every day. I searched for perfection and I found it. I know it's a short answer that I could have said right at the beginning of the video, perfection does not exist, but I cannot agree with that completely either, because I think perfection do exist. I like the ugliness of life, and when I fall in love with someone, I'm not falling in love with their qualities, I'm falling in love with their bad sides. I'm falling in love with their ability to be a good person despite their struggles. I'm not falling in love with street photography as itself, I'm falling in love with finding beauties where none should be or where none is expected. Finding beauties in people who are not just here smiling, posing, faking it, but just their everyday life. When they're bored or anxious or sad, lonely, perfection is everywhere, and perfection is and always will be imperfection. Wait a minute. Is he peeing? Is that man peeing from the cliff? That day was a bit of a better day. I was more relaxed, less tired, and I could just enjoy the calmness of the place. I ran after seagulls. It did not go very well, as you can see. I don't think seagulls should be celebrated on the chart of nice birds. They're most likely somewhere down with swans. I enjoyed that picture of the man laying there. There is something very soothing that reminds me of the emotion that I had when I was at that place. I can feel the warmth on my skin and the relaxation. Perfection is our ability to overcome. If you look at novels, movies, video games, real-life stories and documentaries, the one that touches us the most are always about people who reach some sort of perfection by overcoming all the odds. Imagine that you go to the cinema, you see it, you paid for that movie, and well, it's a guy who's just perfect. He has superpowers and he uses them to do good, and he knows how to use them. He's not struggling. He's never tempted to use them for bad things or his own benefits. He's super nice, super beautiful. Everyone loves him. Everything is just perfect. Yeah, that's so boring. And it would be so perfect that this would be most likely considered like the shittiest movie of the year. And it's the same for me with street photography. If you take a picture with your friend or if you take portrait, obviously your goal will be to make sure that everyone looks the best. But the moment you present street photography, people are not looking anymore for perfection. They're looking for emotion. And most of the time, emotion and stories and meanings cannot be found in those perfect portraits that are posed, corrected, carefully crafted and chosen. When I look at street photography, I'm pretty sure that most people would consider themselves not the prettiest on those pictures. But the moment you understand that it's art and that it's supposed to reflect reality, suddenly you stop having that superficial envy to correct and remove and change reality to something that is not the truth. A good picture of street photography will move you, will show you in all its ugliness, emotions and people, and that will make it a perfect street photography shot. When we look around us, when we look at nature, we're not looking for perfection, at least not the same way that we're looking for it in humans. Nature is already perfect. It's a fragile balance, yes, but a balance where the ugliness and the prettiness goes well together. The truth is, the landscape that I saw in Ireland are one of the most perfect ones ever. In these cliffs you can see history. You understand that these cliffs are here because they're withstood centuries of storms and water, of good weather and bad weather. It's not human-made, it's nature as it is. That's what usually is so impressive, right? When you go somewhere and it's so beautiful that it moves you, so beautiful that it touches you and you're thinking, that's nature? Nature did that all by itself, and that's where you see the perfection. I will always look for perfection, and I think because of that I will always get up in the morning and try to do better. But the bottom line is accepting who I am, accepting that I struggle, accepting that I cannot always be at my best, that sometimes I need to rest or breathe, and deciding to never hide who I am and the struggle that I have is the most liberating thing that I ever did.
Oh, hello, you're so cute. You are the cutest. Oh, yeah. Whoa.
I would never suggest you to settle for mediocrity for yourself, but the fact that you're struggling on the path of doing this is not weakness, is not mediocrity, and to be honest, is something that should always be celebrated. So I hope that after watching that video you will perhaps, if not love yourself more, because come on, as I said, we're not hippies here, okay? Let's calm down. But if not loving yourself, at least accept that your imperfection makes you perfect. To be honest, I don't know much about anything, or I know a lot about nothing. I don't know yet which one it is, but right now, as I'm recording this video, who knows, perhaps next video will completely change my mind. But right now, as I'm recording this video, I know that being transparent is the best gift I did to myself. Letting go of pretense, letting go of perfection, that is the best thing that helped me go through that healing path. I think that in general, as a community, we should have less of hashtag perfect life and more of hashtag I sneezed too hard and I peed myself a little. And on those very wise words, I will thank you all for watching that video and leave you with a few shots that I took and I did not film during that moment. Please let me know which photo you preferred. Thank you to everyone who watched and who will comment, like and share that video. See you soon, perhaps.
To those who looked up to the sky, where nothing ever comes, nothing ever goes, hands full of never drying tears, dreams sealed under eyes closed. To those who survived winter, where nothing ever forms, nothing ever grows, an arm offered to solitude, calls lost to the wind that blows.
Which is a heartbeat I wish to reach one day. But I'm not even sure I can reach it when I'm sleeping. That's how anxious I am.